For more than 3 years of war, Volodymyr Zelensky has been portrayed as the symbol of resistance, the hero who stood up against a vast Russian giant. Yet what if the truth lies in the opposite direction? What if he is not a hero of Ukraine at all, but rather a hero of Russia, who has flawlessly executed a mission that paved the way for Moscow's rise to power? The results speak for themselves. Ukraine has lost more than 20% of its territory, not barren wasteland, but the richest regions in resources and industry. Coal, iron, uranium, energy corridors, all have fallen into Russian hands. These territories have turned Moscow into the holder of reserves strong enough to secure its superpower status for decades. Could a president who truly fought for his country allow such a loss? Or did Zelensky willingly deliver this strategic gift to Russia as part of a greater plan? More striking is that Russia has not weakened at all. Sanctions, once hailed as the economic nuclear weapon of the West, ended up being the catalyst that forced Moscow into self-reliance. Its defense industry exploded. New weapons rolled off the lines. The economy pivoted toward Asia and Africa, and energy became its strategic sword. Instead of collapse, Russia emerged stronger, more independent, and more dangerous than ever. All of this unfolded while Zelensky relentlessly prolonged the war, a move that seemed like resistance but in reality granted Russia the time it needed to consolidate its power. Meanwhile, Europe, the greatest supporter of Ukraine, has withered. Energy prices skyrocketed. Inflation spread like wildfire. Industries lost competitiveness. A continent once proud as the heart of innovation and manufacturing now stares at the specter of a decade-long decline. NATO, instead of unity, cracked apart, with members chasing their own interests. This scenario is nothing short of perfection for Russia, but Moscow is not the only beneficiary. The shadow of the United States looms large over this entire game. When Donald Trump abruptly shifted his stance on Ukraine, ending the push for endless aid, he left Europe to carry the burden alone. In doing so, the EU, already cut off from Russian energy, had no choice but to become fully dependent on American liquefied natural gas and US technology. In effect, Washington secured Europe's economic subordination, while Moscow solidified its territorial gains. If such an arrangement existed, then Zelensky was nothing more than the perfect instrument to execute it. All of this leads to Odessa, the decisive card. The Black Sea port city is Ukraine's economic lifeline, its last true artery of survival. Losing Odessa would mean losing the very possibility of independence. And yet Zelensky, instead of securing it at all costs, chose to drag the war on, giving Russia the chance to move ever closer. Perhaps the ultimate goal was never to save Ukraine, but to deliver Odessa into Moscow's hands and finalize the partition. And when Odessa finally falls, the day of surrender will arrive. History will then record that Zelensky was never the hero of Ukraine but the hero of Russia. The man who enabled Moscow to claim the greatest geopolitical triumph of the 21st century. While millions of Ukrainians are forced into exile, while Europe sinks into weakness, Zelensky may not appear as a pitiful leader in exile. On the contrary, he may well surface in Moscow, living in opulence, protected as the loyal figure who delivered victory. The global picture becomes chillingly clear. Russia entrenches its power. America transforms Europe into a dependent market. The EU loses its strength, and Ukraine is drained to the bone. At the very center of it all stands the man once hailed as the champion of democracy, yet destined to be remembered as Russia's greatest hero. And if that day comes, when the truth can no longer be hidden, the world will bitterly admit that Volodymyr